You don't fail because you're not smart enough. You fail because part of you decided that succeeding was more dangerous than staying where you are. You've done it before. You had the plan, you had the ability, and somewhere between the start and the finish, you disappeared. Missed the deadline, picked the fight, chose the distraction, told yourself you'd start again Monday. You called it laziness. You called it fear. You called it bad timing. It wasn't any of those things. It was a decision, made without your permission, by the part of you that's been running this show longer than you've been paying attention. The most dangerous saboteur in your life has your face, your voice, and your best interests at heart. Everyone assumes self-sabotage is a failure of willpower, that if you just pushed harder, wanted it more, disciplined yourself into submission, it would stop. But here's what the research actually shows. In 1978, psychologists Stephen Berglas and Edward Jones ran a series of experiments at Duke University. They gave participants a task, some solvable, some impossible. Then they offered everyone a choice before the next round. Take a performance-enhancing drug or a performance-inhibiting one. The people who had succeeded on the unsolvable tasks, the ones whose success felt like luck, not ability, disproportionately chose the drug that would hurt their performance. They handicapped themselves, on purpose, before they even tried. Berglas called it self-handicapping. And the logic, once you see it, is brutal in its elegance. If you perform badly after taking something that hurts your performance, your ability was never really tested. Your identity stays intact. You didn't fail. The conditions failed you. The smarter you are, the more sophisticated this mechanism becomes. Because intelligence doesn't protect you from self-sabotage. It arms it. It gives it better excuses, more elaborate constructions, more convincing stories about why now isn't the right time. You are not afraid of failing. You are afraid of succeeding and still feeling empty. But self-handicapping is only the surface layer. Underneath it is something older. Carl Jung spent decades studying the parts of ourselves we refuse to acknowledge. He called it the shadow. Not the darkness in you, but the potential in you that you've decided is too dangerous to let out. And here is what Jung noticed about high-functioning people specifically. The shadow doesn't always look like weakness. Sometimes it looks like greatness you don't believe you're allowed to have. You've been told in ways both loud and quiet what kind of person you are. By your family, by your early failures, by the version of yourself you built in rooms where it wasn't safe to be too much. And success, real success, would require you to become someone those rooms never prepared you for. So the mind does what it always does when survival is at stake. It protects you from the threat. It pulls you back. It creates friction exactly where momentum should be. Not because you're weak, because you're consistent. Because some part of you decided long ago who you were, and it has been keeping you there ever since. The ceiling isn't out there. It was installed early, and you've been decorating it ever since. There's a concept in psychology called the upper limiting problem. Gay Hendricks, psychologist and author of the book The Big Leap, spent 30 years watching high-achieving people destroy their own progress at the exact moment things started working. The promotion comes through, and you start the argument that ends the relationship. The project finally gains traction, and you get sick, or distracted, or suddenly consumed by something that didn't matter yesterday. The thing you wanted arrives, and you find a way to make sure it doesn't stay. Hendricks called it the upper limit, an invisible thermostat set to the maximum amount of success, happiness, and expansion you unconsciously believe you deserve. The moment you exceed it, the system corrects, and the correction always feels justified. It feels like bad luck, circumstances, other people's failures. It never feels like what it is, a return to the temperature you decided was safe. The question is not why you self-sabotage. The question is when. Because it's not random. It happens at a specific altitude. And that altitude was set before you were old enough to question it. You keep arriving at the edge of your own potential and calling it someone else's fault. So what do you do with this? Not what most people tell you. Not affirmations, not discipline, not another productivity system designed to force your way past a wall you haven't yet understood. because the mechanism doesn't respond to force. It responds to recognition. Jung was precise about this. He wrote that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Read that again. The sabotage that feels like bad timing, like circumstance, like the world conspiring against you, is you. Operating below the level of awareness you've been willing to go. The first move is not to fix it. The first move is to see it. To notice the exact moment you reach for the distraction. The exact moment the excuse appears fully formed, as if it had been waiting. The exact moment your motivation evaporates and you find yourself doing anything except the thing that matters. That moment is not a failure. That moment is information. It's the upper limit announcing itself. It's the shadow showing you where the ceiling was installed. Most people will spend their entire lives bumping against that ceiling and never once look up. Awareness doesn't solve the problem, but without it, you don't even know you have one. The people who break through are not the ones with more talent or more drive. They are the ones who became willing to be honest about something most people never admit, that the thing standing between them and what they want is not the market, not their competition, not their circumstances, not their past. It's the story they agreed to about who they are and what they're allowed to become. That story was written in rooms you can barely remember. By people who were doing their best and still got it wrong. By moments that felt definitive and weren't. And it has been running quietly in the background ever since, editing your choices, softening your ambition, returning you to the temperature that feels like home. You are not lazy, you are not broken, you are not unlucky. You are loyal, loyal to a version of yourself that no longer fits, and loyal to the ceiling that version built. The question isn't whether you can succeed. The question is whether you're willing to become someone your past didn't plan for. So the next time you find yourself at the edge of something that matters and you feel that familiar pull backward, don't fight it. Watch it. Ask yourself one question. What exactly am I protecting myself from right now? Because the answer to that question is not a weakness, it's a map. And maps, unlike ceilings, can be redrawn.